WPIAL Podcast, Trib Live High School Sports Network, presented by Edgar Snyder and Associates. Go local, go with Edgar. Helping injured people since 1982. If you need help, edgarsnyder.com. Bump you back a little bit there. So we're down to 2 weeks plus left in the WPIAL regular season. So far, so good. I think most teams are up to date with their schedules. A couple of games have been bumped back. The beauty of the baseball section series is that you try to get those in all in 1 week, and the weather hasn't been that terrible that teams are falling way behind. Was terrible the other day. Let's bring in our producer, Chris Lackner. Wake him up. Christopher was with me. Don't worry about your hair. Stop. Christopher was with me on Thursday. We were, I think it was Thursday, Wednesday. We were Tuesday. We were trying to broadcast the big showdown in 5A, Thomas Jefferson Baldwin softball. 1 game difference. TJ's only section loss was to Baldwin earlier in the year. So we get going. Baldwin or TJ scores twice. Baldwin before the first pitch of the bottom of the first. Lightning delay, and then the skies open up. Chris and I, and kudos to Christopher, our first and only priority was to keep the equipment dry. We're sitting there, and we were getting soaked, and everyone's wondering, why didn't both teams are yelling for us to come into the dugouts. However, there was a couple really before it started pouring. It just started raining, and we had a towel and everything. There was a couple, and I don't know if it was a Baldwin mom and dad or a Thomas Jefferson mom and dad, who they each had an umbrella. The gentleman came over and gave us his umbrella, and it was a lifesaver.
Yes, saved the day.
Yes. So we want to thank that person or those people. And coming up this week, they're going to try to play that game again, I think Thursday, at Baldwin. And we will try to be there. And hopefully Sean is able to make it because he's the one that has the umbrella. And so if those people are listening or somebody knows those people, A, thank them for us, and B, tell them they can have their umbrella back Thursday at Baldwin, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It was crazy, was it not?
Yeah, I've never seen such a thing. And I remember when the umpires called it, we were looking around like, what the heck? We didn't see anything. We want to play ball. And next thing you knew, they were dead on, right? And like you said, the skies opened up and it was brutal.
Yeah, it was. Both Chris and I got soaked, but you take it for the team, right?
Yep. Yeah, you had to be there.
Yep.
So we just managed the best we can, and we got out of there, and the equipment's still good, so that's all that matters, and we live to see another day.
The folks love when you come on, Christopher. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I gotta go.
Look at that hair, Chris Lackner. So let's get. So again, thank you to those folks. Let's get to the situation now, heading down into the home stretch. The stretch run, as we call it here at the Trib Live High School Sports Network, of the 2026 baseball and softball high school seasons. We'll start in baseball, where in Class 6A, Section 1, three-way tie for first place. Butler, Seneca Valley, North Allegheny, all 4-2. Central Catholic has played 3 more games. They're sitting at 5-4. Those are the 4 top teams. And we're going to go over postseason teams that have clinched after we're done running these down. Big series coming up this week. Central Catholic at Butler, Monday and Thursday. Central Catholic hosting on Tuesday. Another big one, Seneca Valley, North Allegheny. Those 2 rivals play 3 times, Monday and Thursday at North Allegheny, and then on Tuesday up in Harmony at Seneca Valley. So those are 2 huge series right now between the top 4 teams that will help decide the order of the postseason. Top 4 teams make it in all of these sections in WPIAL baseball. Section 2, Cannon McMillan in first place, but the lead isn't as grand as it once was after losing 2 of 3 to Mount Lebanon. They are 1 game up on Mount Lebanon and Norwin, 2 games up on Hempfield. Big series this week. Cannon McMillan taking on Hempfield. Spartans will host Monday, Thursday. Cannon Mac hosts at McDowell Lane Field on Tuesday. Cannon Mac 7-2, Norwin 6-3, Mount Lebanon 3-3, and Hempfield is 2-4 in Section 2 of Class 6A. 5A, Section 1, Plum on top at 5-1, and then you have 3 teams with 2 losses. Latrobe is 6-2. Both Franklin Regional and Penn Trafford are 4-2, and then Kiscaria sits in 5th place, but they're only 2 back in the loss column at 3-3, and they have a big one. It'll be Kiscaria at Plum in the feature series in Section 1. The 2 teams meet in Vandergrift on Tuesday. Section 2 of Class 5A. Still log jam, but a little clearer now. South Fayette 6-2, Moon 4-2. Those teams tied for first place. Then you have Bethel Park and Peters Township. Hawks are 5-3, Indians are 3-3. And then with 4 losses, Upper St. Clair and Trinity, they're both 2-4. So again, with everything so tight, the 3 section series this week in Section 2 are South Fayette against Trinity, Moon against Bethel Park, and Peters Township taking on Upper St. Clair. Section 3 of 5A, Pine Richland has opened up a gap, a 2-game gap. They are in first place at 6-0. Both Newcastle and West Allegheny are 2-2. Fox Chapel 4-4. Mars 2-4. And Shaler, the defending champs, check in at 0-4. Big series in Section 3. The 2 teams currently tied for second place, Newcastle and West Allegheny, meeting in Imperial on Monday, up in Lawrence County on Tuesday. Section 4 in 5A, 2-way tie for the top spot, Baldwin and Thomas Jefferson. These 2 teams were tied for second place a week ago, but TJ sweeps Montour, dropping the Spartans from first to third. Montour is 4-2, and then Connellsville and Gateway tied for the final playoff spot at 2-4. 2 big series in Section 4 coming up. Baldwin is home to Connellsville Monday and Fayette County Tuesday. Thomas Jefferson and Monroeville Monday, home to the Gators on Tuesday. So 2 battles, one for first place, and Connellsville Gateway battling for 4th place. All right, Class 4A, baseball, Section 1. Beaver sweeps 2 games from Blackhawk, thus a 3-way tie for first place in Section 1 between the Bobcats, the Cougars, and the Vikings. Beaver is 6-2, so they have 2 games more played. Blackhawk 4-2. Hopewell is 4-2. None of those teams play each other this week. Blackhawk visits Ambridge, and Hopewell on Monday is home to Hampton. That's their section series this week. No section series for Beaver in 4A Section 1. Section 2, West Mifflin has a 1-game lead over Bell Vernon and Elizabeth Forward. Titans are 6-0. Leopards 6-1. Warriors are 5-1. Coming up this week, Elizabeth Forward visits Albert Gallatin. West Mifflin takes on Laurel Highlands in their section series. No section series for Bell Vernon this week. The battle for 4th place is pretty good as well. Ringgold 3-4, Uniontown 2-4, Laurel Highlands is 1-4. Section 3, big sweep for Valley. They took 2 from Knock last week. Thus, the Vikings are alone in second place, 1 up on Knock. They're both looking up at Indiana, the defending district and state champions, 6-0. Valley 5-1, Knock 2-2. Knock, after losing 2 to the Vikings, have 2 with the Little Indians this week, beginning Monday at Indiana. Right now, the battle for fourth place, Derry is 2-4, Greensburg Salem 0-4, Highlands is 1-5. All right, this Class 3A now, Section 1, tied for first place, Elwood City and Mohawk, both teams with one loss. Riverside, the defending district champions and state champions, are right now in third place, a game behind both the Wolverines and the Warriors, and they're a game ahead of Quaker Valley. And those two teams meet in a section series this week, Riverside taking on Quaker Valley. Deadlock continues in Section 2 of 3A between South Park and Avonworth. They're both 6-0 combined, 18-6 on the season. This week, South Park section series against third place South Allegheny, whereas Avonworth will take on the basement dwellers from East Allegheny in their section series. All signs pointing to a showdown next week between the Eagles and the Antelope. Section 3 of Class 3A, Freeport remains undefeated, 6-0 in the section, 10-0 overall. They have built themselves a 2-game lead over Mount Pleasant and York. Burrell is 3 games back. Burrell taking on Freeport this week in a section series, a big one to watch in Section 3. Section 4 of Class 3A, Seton LaSalle has built themselves a 2-game lead. They're 7-1, 2 games up on Washington, 2 up on Waynesburg Central. Both the Little Prexies and the Raiders are tied for second place. They're both 1 game up in the loss column on Charleroi, Keystone Oaks, and McGuffey. So pretty tight in Section 4. The Rebels take on Wash High in a section series this week. 2A, Section 1, Fort Cherry and California. Both are 6-0 in section play. Fort Cherry, their section series this week is against Chartiers Houston. The Buccaneers right now in third place in that section. California's section series against Frazier. The Commodores sit in fourth place in Section 1. Section 2, tie for first place, could be broken this week as those two teams square off. Shenango is 5-1. Neshannock is 4-1. Lancers and Wildcats do battle Monday at Shenango, Tuesday at Neshannock. Right now, defending district champion Freedom is 5-3. Laurel sits at 3-3. Those two teams tied for third place. Section 3 of Class 2A, Our Lady of the Sacred Heart has opened up a 2-game lead over both Riverview and Southside. Those two teams played last week with the Raiders and the Rams splitting. Southside now has their section series against Osh this week, trying to chip away at that 2-game deficit. 3 teams, or Carlinton right now sits alone in fourth place. They are 2 up in the loss column on both Apollo Ridge and Springdale. Class A, Greensburg Central Catholic in first place, 1 game up in the loss column on Avella, and then a little bit of a gap. Carmichael's and West Green tied for third place. They both have 3 section losses. The big showdown for first place is this week. Greensburg Central Catholic at Avella on Monday. GCC home to the Eagles on Tuesday. Class A, Section 2, Western Beaver has a 2-game lead on Leechburg, and then they're 3 up on both Rochester and Union. Aquinas Academy, which currently sits in fourth place, takes on Union this week in a section series. And in Section 3, Eden Christian Academy, perfect, winning section series against Sarah Catholic, Bishop Canevin, and now Sewickley Academy. They have are all alone in first place at 6-0. You have Sarah at 2-2. Sewickley Academy and Bishop Canevin both are 3-3. The only section series this week, Eden Christian Academy takes on Monessen. Here are the teams that have clinched coming into this week in WPIAL baseball. Out of Section 1 and 6A, Central Catholic has clinched. Section 2, 6A, Cannon McMillan and Norwin have both clinched. 5A, the only three teams that have clinched are Pine Richland out of Section 3, Baldwin and Thomas Jefferson out of Section 4. In Class 4A, only one team is clinched coming into this week. That's the defending champions, Indiana Little Indians. 3 teams are in Class 3A. South Park and Avonworth both in from Section 2. Seton LaSalle is clinched out of Section 4. In 2A, nada. Nobody is clinched yet in Class 2A. And 2 teams are in Class A, Western Beaver and Eden Christian Academy. That list is going to definitely grow by the time we talk next week. But that's the current outlook. Teams that have clinched coming into this week in WPIAL baseball. All right, let's switch over to softball now. Start in 6A, where Hempfield is alone in first place, 9-0. Seneca Valley a game back at 8-1. Norwin, tough loss to Hempfield on Friday. The Knights check in at 6-2. Right now, North Allegheny is a game up on Cannon McMillan and Pine Richland for fourth place. Big Macs, boy, have they hit a wall. Once undefeated, they're now 4-6 in 6A, 5-6 overall. Big one here is Seneca Valley visiting Hempfield. Raiders looking for a win and a share of the section title, possibly down the road. The Spartans a win, and they gives them a 2-game cushion in Class 6A. That's Monday, Seneca Valley against Hempfield. On Friday, as far as the battle for a playoff spot is concerned, Norwin is going to be taking on North Allegheny. That's actually a battle for third place. Top 6 teams make it in 6A softball. All right, 5A, Section 1. Shaler has run away, and they have effectively hid from the rest of the pack. 10-0, 3-game lead over Plum, 4 up on both Fox Chapel and North Hills. Pretty good chase after that. Only 2 games separating the next 4 teams after Shaler. North Hills at Plum on Monday. North Hills hosting Plum on Friday. Section 2, Armstrong is a game back in the loss column to Penn Trafford. Warriors are 8-1. Riverhawks are 9-2. And then you have Kiski is still in the mix at 8-3. The battle for fourth place right now, Latrobe has a 2-game lead over both Gateway and Franklin Regional. In Section 3 of Class 5A, both Montour and West Allegheny even in the loss column. Spartans are 6-2. Indians are 5-2. 1 game behind those 2 teams. South Fayette at 6-3. And then you have Moon and Upper St. Clair currently tied for fourth place. Those 2 teams, the Panthers and Tigers, meet at Moon on Wednesday, a big game for fourth place. Section 4 of Class 5A, Baldwin alone on top, 1 game up on Thomas Jefferson. They are finally scheduled and the weather forecast looks pretty good. Thursday of this week, they're going to try to finish that suspended game, Thomas Jefferson and Baldwin, 1 game separating them. Then Trinity, they are 2 behind Thomas Jefferson, 3 behind Baldwin. Right now, Connellsville has a 1-game lead over Bethel Park in the battle for fourth place. So Baldwin back-to-back big games at home. Wednesday, they host the Hillers, and Thursday, that makeup with the Jaguars. All right, 4A Section 1, deadlocked. Knock and Indiana, both teams are 8-1. 2-game cushion over both Derry at 5-3 and Greensburg-Salem at 4-3. Freeport in the hunt for fourth place. They will be taking on Derry. That's a big matchup for the Yellow Jackets. They're kind of in must-win mode now from here on in to get into the postseason. Section 2, Oh, another big one, by the way, Freeport at Derry Monday. Those two teams meet again Thursday. The Yellow Jackets hosting the Trojans. Now on to Section 2 of 4A. Elizabeth Forward yawning as they sit alone in first place at 10-0, 11-1 overall. They've built a 2-game lead over West Mifflin, 4 games up on both Uniontown and Laurel Highlands. Those two teams, by the way, fight for third place on Wednesday. Battle of Fayette County, Red Raiders visiting the Mustangs. Belle Vernon, time running out on them as they try to chase down both Uniontown and Laurel Highlands. Section 3 of Class 4A, Blackhawk has a 1-game lead over North Catholic. Cougars are 6-0. Trojans are 5-1. Hampton sits at 6-3. Beaver 3-3. Western Beaver 0-3. With a lot of games to be played, obviously. Big showdown for first place. North Catholic visits Blackhawk on Wednesday. Let's go to Class 3A. Section 1, Mount Pleasant has earned themselves a bit of a gap and a share of the section title. They are 8-0, 2 up on York, 3 up on Burrell. The battle for fourth place, Deer Lakes is 2-6, Ligonier Valley 1-6, Southmoreland is 2-7. Deer Lakes at Ligonier Valley on Monday. Section 2, Mohawk 5-0, defending champs, 1 up on Avonworth at 4-1, and then Elwood City sits at 2-3, Quaker Valley at 1-3, and third and fourth place respectively. Top 2 teams head-to-head on Monday, Mohawk at Avonworth. Section 3, South Park has opened up a 2-game lead. They're 2 up on McGuffey, 3 up on Keystone Oaks. Charleroi sits in fourth place, a game up in the loss column on East Allegheny in Section 3 of Class 3A. East Allegheny visits Charleroi, game the Wildcats must win. That game is on Wednesday. Going back to Section 2 of 3A, another big game to watch Monday is Quaker Valley at Hopewell. Class 2A, Section 1, Laurel and Neshannock tied. The Spartans 8-1, the Lancers 6-1. Neshannock getting revenge on Shenango, who knocked off Neshannock a week prior. The Lancers beating the Wildcats, dropping Shenango to 6-3. And down into fourth place behind Riverside, the Panthers are at 4-2 in Section 1 of Class 2A. Big one for first place, Neshannock at Laurel. That game is a makeup coming up on Thursday. Section 2, South Allegheny, section champs. They have a 2-game lead over Brentwood, 2 games in the loss column over Apollo Ridge as well. South Allegheny is at Apollo Ridge on Monday. Apollo Ridge home to Springdale on Wednesday as the Vikings try to secure a playoff berth. Section 3 of Class 2A, alone on top is Chartiers Houston at 6-0. They have a 2-game lead over both Burgettstown and Seton LaSalle. And then Our Lady of the Sacred Heart currently sits in fourth place in Section 3. Section 4, Bentworth has opened up a 2-game lead. The Bearcats 5-0. Washington is 5-2. Then Brownsville 3-4, and Fraser 4-4. Waynesburg Central 3-4. So 2 games separating 2 through 5 in Section 4. Waynesburg hosting Washington on Wednesday, a big one in Section 4 of 2A. Finally, Class A, Section 1, Union alone on top. 2 games up on Sewickley Academy, 3 up on both Southside and Bishop Canevin. Union visits Hookstown to take on the Rams on Wednesday. Section 2, Jefferson Morgan, Carmichael's, West Green, all log jammed. 1 game separating those 3. Jefferson Morgan Carmichael's tied for first place. Rockets 7-1. Mighty Mikes are 6-1. And then the Pioneers, having just lost to Carmichael's, they are at 6-2. Big one on Monday, West Green at Jefferson Morgan. Pioneers need to win to keep their section title hopes alive. Union, by the way, I mentioned against Southside. No, Union is at Sewickley Academy on Monday. So let me correct myself there. Another big game in Section 2, Carmichael's hosting Jefferson Morgan on Friday. Mighty Mike's only loss was to the Rockets a couple of weeks ago. Battle for fourth place, by the way, Beth Center won up on Avella in the loss column in Section 2. Finally, Section 3 of Class A, Sarah Catholic 5-0, Jeanette 5-1. Those two teams are slated to meet in McKeesport on Monday with the Section 3 crown at stake. After that, you have Monessen at 2-4, Leechburg 1-4, and Ellis School at 0-4. Monessen visits Leechburg on Wednesday to try to clarify that three-team chase for the final two playoff spots. A lot more teams have clinched in WPIAL softball. Let's run them down real quick before we wrap it up. 6A, again, top six teams make it. There's only one classification, no sections. Hempfield, Seneca Valley, and Norwin have all clinched. 5A, Section 1, Shaler is in. 4 teams have clinched out of Section 2. Penn Trafford, Armstrong, Kiskierry, and Latrobe are all in. 3 are in from Section 3. Montour, West Allegheny, and South Fayette. 3 are in from Section 4. Baldwin, Thomas Jefferson, and Trinity. So logjam in Section 1, but the other 3 sections have a combined 10 teams that have already clinched. 4A, Knock and Indiana are in Section 1. Elizabeth Forward and West Mifflin are in Section 2. Nobody has clinched in Section 3 as of yet. Section 1 and 3A, Mount Pleasant, York, and Borough are all in. Section 2, nobody has clinched yet. And in Section 3, South Park, McGuffey, Keystone Oaks, all in. Section 1 of 2A, Laurel, Neshannock, Shenango, all in. Section 2, South Allegheny and Brentwood have clinched. Section 3, Chartiers, Houston, Burgettstown, Seton LaSalle, and Our Lady of the Sacred Heart have all clinched. And in Section 4, Bentworth and Washington are in. Finally, Class A, Union, Sewickley Academy, Southside in from Section 1. Jefferson Morgan, Carmichael's, West Green in from Section 2. Sarah Catholic and Jeanette battling for the section title on Monday. They are both in Section 3. So obviously with each day, there will be new playoff ramifications, and we will update you each and every day on the Trib Live website, hssn.triblive.com. Check it out every night or the next morning, and we'll have the updated list for you. Thanks again to producer extraordinaire Chris Lackner. I'm Don Rebel. Hope you enjoyed it. Let's go these guys. Rebel Yell Podcast, Trib Live High School Sports Network.